All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I am Scott Sheldy, otherwise known as the Cow Guy, still known as the Cow Guy. Thank you very much for tuning us in. If that's what you're doing, if you've been with us all day, well, that's good. We're going to make sure that we get you this information in a timely fashion so that we make you stay. Let's talk about what's going on in these markets. You don't care what I have to say. Let's bring up corn in Chicago and see what that's doing. If you bring that up behind my big head. Okay, here we go with May down 2.5 cents in corn, 637.25 is last. It's about 3.25 cents off the lows. July's down 2.25 cents to 625.75. About the same place it was when we last visited. However, we were down 5 or 6 cents early in the day. Actually, when I was doing the radio show this morning, just when the overnights were beginning to close down. Dees, the new crop, down 1 cent to 5.70. There you go. That's going to give you an idea about what's going on in corn. Soybeans, well, that May contract's up 13.25 cents. Good double-digit gains here, 15.32 even as last. July's up 13.5 cents to 15.19.25. Let's see about the new crop, though. That's going to be something that we're all kind of interested in here. That's going to be November at 23. New crop soybeans, well, they're up 8.5 cents to 13.81.5, and that's about a 0.6% gain on the day there when in percentage terms. Let's talk about wheat in Chicago, the Chicago wheat market. That one is down about a dime across the board. 11 cents lower in the May, the 6.97.75. About 4 cents off the lows, and we've got a 10.25 cent sell-off in the July to 706.5. About we go to Kansas City and see what the hard red wheat's got in store for us. A little bit of the same or similar, but actually a little bit worse. May's down 16 cents to $8 even and a quarter. That wasn't as bad as before. We've got that 8 handle back. We'll see if we can hold on to that for the rest of the day. But July's down 14.25 cents to 794.5. Let's take a look at the spring wheat in Minneapolis, see what that's got in store for us. Well, that's 7.5 cents lower in the May to 865.25, 4 cents off the lows. Well, July is down 7.75 cents to 861.25. And then finally, let's take a look at cotton. Cotton's higher on the day. That May contract's up 98 points to 85.15. And we've got a 98-cent rally, or 98-point rally, I should say, in the East to 85.24. Let's bring in our next guest analyst. That's going to be Todd Horowitz from Bubba Trading in Las Vegas. Thanks for taking the time here to be with us today, Todd. Okay, I just rattled off a bunch of numbers. It looks as though that the soybeans have kind of turned around. I mean, they're kind of trading like lemmings now. There's not a lot of news, and then suddenly a couple of them make a turn for something else, and the whole place follows. But it does look like they're all trying to get out, or they were trying to get out of the theater at the same time, and then somebody changed their mind.
You know, Scott, it's when you have extremely light volume, which we still have. I mean, this volume is still really like we're closed. In fact, when I did my update this morning, I asked, are the markets open today because of the lack of activity? Soybeans, they had a very nice reversal earlier this morning, but of course, they still really look the best out of all. Soybeans look the best, wheat looks the worst, and corn is just kind of not eventful as it kind of churns in a range. I haven't changed my overall views, but I am getting a little bit concerned because, you know, the price at the retail end continues to rise, yet the price at the wholesale end, which we really need to rise to help our farmers to make a living and to be able to survive, is not, which becomes a much bigger problem. And I don't understand what is really keeping the pressure on these markets, except that when you have extremely light volume, it's a lot easier to hold weight on top of commodities until they get ready to buy them.
Well, that's been a big worry, right? Because we've talked about input prices till our heads cave in, and so yes, some of them did come down this spring. We'll see how that goes moving into the planting season. But you know, while we're worrying about how high these interest rates are going to go and how well this economy is going to do, we're going to be waiting to see how well this crop does, and then what are the prices? What are the output prices going to be when you want to take this stuff out of the ground? I think that's probably one of the biggest concern, if not the largest concern for the producers in the country, because you're just going to be sitting around waiting for either the economy to strengthen and the consumer to stay healthy, or have things turn south, and turning south looks pretty ugly.
And there's virtually no chance for the economy to strengthen right now. I mean, again, we know that the Fed's going to continue to raise. You hear the hawkish talk. You've got the problem with the amount of money you're making versus the amount of money you're spending, and it's a 1-to-3 ratio, which I don't know about your math, but 1-to-3 does not work out well for the person who's spending the money. So it becomes a much bigger problem, and it looks like it's going to be a very bad year. And of course, these prices have to go higher. If we're going to produce, they've got to go higher. And right. If you're looking at, $5.90 corn in new crop, it's not very exciting considering what your inputs are, and now crude oil is starting to take off again, which would lead me to believe that that's going a lot higher. And as I've said before, I think coming into driving season will be much higher.
All good concerns. I share your pain there. So thank you for that. But we're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Todd Horowitz about the livestock after this. All right, welcome back into Market Day Report. Let's take a look at what's going on in the proteins, the meats, the livestock, whatever you want to call it. Let's take a look at those prices. Well, we've got up arrows in live cattle, but they're not very much, right? So let's go to, April's up 85 cents to 166.27. And June's up 47 cents to 161.15. So, look, we're going to take it. Not bad, but they could be higher if you really wanted to see some decent action. How about feeders? Well, they're higher too, and this is some good action, right? We'll definitely take this. April's up $2.92 to 198.95. And folks, I haven't said that in a long time, but that's a new high. How about that, right? $2.50 higher in the May, right behind it to 203.45. And that's a tick off the highs in May. So a strong feeder board as we go into the last couple hours of trade, or at least hour and a half of trade. Let's see what's going on with the lean hogs. Lean hogs, let's call that, well, that's a smorgasbord, a little something for everybody. Up, down, and unchanged. Let's go to April. That's down 62 cents, 83.92. May's up just one tick to 93.47. And if we go all the way out to the deferreds, August is sharply unchanged at 103.60. Let's bring in our guest analyst who's been so patiently waiting in the wings. That's going to be Todd Horowitz with Bubba Trading in Las Vegas. All right, Todd, we got about 45 seconds. Have at it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think cattle looks great. I mean, it continues to go higher. I'm concerned with this big rally in crude. And I think when you look at the contango formation in hogs, they tell you they're going higher. Now, again, it may not be this week or next week, but you can see going out in the curve that we're over $1 in May and June. And so I would think that hogs are going to really start to take off. And I think the beef is going to start to settle because it's getting a little bit pricey, and live cattle is getting near all-time highs.
Yeah, real quick, I want to do like a calculation of a CPI in your pocket, like the cash you have in your pocket. How does that look? And it doesn't look very good. And you've made a good point twice today. I mean, this crude oil market's back over $80 a barrel, and that's very big influence on the CPI. So it's going to be tough. It's going to really be tough. We're going to have to wait and see, but it just doesn't, I don't see a lot of those green shoots of hope out there, but who knows? Thank you very much, Todd. Todd Horowitz. He's with Bubba Trading in Las Vegas. I'll bring it back here to Nash Vegas.